Hi, this is Lorraine, and I've been guided to create another video. If you'll give me a minute to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. Okay, the first thing I wanted to say was right when I finished the last video, a very clear message came in. This is where the delusion ends, the delusion of control. It was very clear, very definitive, and just that 2 sentences. This is where the delusion ends, the delusion of control. And then I started getting very strong visions and a lot of information about something I've gotten a lot of information about over the last 5 years, maybe a little bit more, maybe since 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And I got information from different sources because I was watching different shows on television, really not watching too much social media, more television shows. So the information that came in was about this bubble or barrier that is around our solar system. And I don't focus too much on this information at all because I don't feel it's relevant to our transition, to the work that I need to do to transcend, to expand, to grow. Right? I don't feel whatever that barrier is relevant to my path and purpose. But I did get information on it, and it was all week. Very strong information all week. And I really didn't want to talk about it because of all the different beliefs around this barrier. That it's a prison, it's a cage, we are kept in isolation, we are slaves, right? There's all these different beliefs. But this is another message that comes through constantly. The greatest manipulation, the greatest deception, the greatest misinformation or disinformation that we receive is peppered with truth. There's always truth in a manipulation. The best manipulations, the best misinformation, and the best disinformation always has truth. So all these things that we've heard, I have no doubt that there is truth in every belief, every paradigm, or every story that we're being told. And that's why it is so important to maintain clear, centered, and balanced energy, to tap into your own intuition, to tap into that part of yourself that is connected to the divine, that is divine, to receive your own internal guidance, to receive the messages that you need to help you be confident in what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're processing the information that's coming in. So the information that I received about this field, barrier, whatever you want to call it, is it's there for a reason. We are not an experiment. That's another thing that's come in very strong. We are not an experiment. We are extraordinary and unique. We are, I don't like this word because we are powerful. And the reason why I don't like that word is because in this world or this paradigm that we're living from, power means oppression over others. And when I say power, I don't mean a power that's oppressive. I mean a power that's transcendent, a power that's a catalyst for change that we need from a place of balance. So we are a culmination of all intelligences, all physical capacity, right? So if you are into or have studied at all or read into or looked into like different beings in the universe, if you're open to that, some people are completely closed to that, but if you're open to that, the mantis beings are said to be very scientific and know DNA, right? From my intuitive knowing, the reptilian beings, society as a whole, are very adept at infrastructure, of governmental infrastructure. So a community, a city, and from our perspective, a county, a state, a country, how these social structures are built, how they organize the society for the greater good. From a balanced place, it's for the greater good. From an unbalanced place, it can become a caste system of oppression, right? But that's what's come in very strong. Aquatic beings are very profoundly emotional, so they have a very strong emotional body, right? So humans have the depth and breadth of this IQ intellect. We also have the depth and breadth of emotions, from the most deepest love to the most deepest, I'm going to say, hate. I don't like words like that, but because I don't want to manifest that. But for example, the greatest love you can have or the deepest hate that you can feel towards something, right? We carry the depth and breadth of that. We carry the depth and breadth of emotional intelligence. We carry the depth and breadth of physicality, coordination, right? We're delicate physically compared to a reptile, right? Our skin, we're very fragile in that sense. But as far as our ability to move, climb, we're agile. We are incredibly agile on the earth, right? On the surface. Aquatic beings are very agile in the water, but nevertheless, for the place that we live, grow, and expand on the surface of the earth, we are incredibly adept at traversing all the different geographies on this planet, whether it be desert, whether it be mountain, whether it be snow and ice. We can traverse that land physically, and our intellectual capacity, our emotional capacity, our ability to problem solve and troubleshoot gives us the ability to survive in a place we shouldn't survive. So the Arctic, right? Incredible, intense cold or incredible, intense heat. We have found a way to adapt and navigate those environments. That is why we are kept on this world and in this space, in this solar system, because we carry the depth and breadth of every quality deemed valuable to the divine consciousness. Many of the worlds throughout this universe are homogeneous. So they are aquatic worlds, or they with a little bit of land here and there, or no land, or they are land masses, massive land masses with enough water for the beings on that world to survive. Because water is the stuff of life, right? It's essential for life. So there is some source of water on every planet, whether it be in the planet or on the planet. I'm sure there are many variations on that, but I get information based on my frame of reference. in my life, in my experience. And what comes through very strong is we are incredibly diverse, and the divine has chosen to integrate all these qualities in humanity on this world. And not only are our physical bodies, our intellect, and all parts of us unique in the universe, but this planet embodies numerous geographic, I'm going to say anomalies, because many worlds will have islands, or it'll be very mountainous, or it will be aquatic. Many worlds, not only are the people on these worlds homogeneous, but the worlds themselves are homogeneous. There'll be ice, there'll be worlds covered in ice. There'll be worlds covered in gases, right? There'll be worlds covered in water. There'll be water that's flowing. There'll be worlds covered with desert, right? There'll be worlds covered with vegetation. And so this world carries all of those qualities, and it is diverse. So not only is the land, not only is Mother Earth incredibly diverse, but so is humanity. And what keeps coming in as I'm talking right now is Gladiola and her people and the raptors are guardians to this planet. They have been guardians to this planet, and they have been guardians to us, to help us. And that's kind of out of the blue, but that keeps coming in right now, so I feel like I need to say that. They're meant to be here, and they've been guardians for this planet, for Mother Earth, and for us. So we are kept in this space because, as you can see, the evolution of this physical being, this physical body, can go in many directions. It can go to a most depraved place, and it can go to a very blessed and loving place, a balanced place, right? And the intention is for us to transcend and grow and evolve. And the intention is for us to be the first, because this is what's going to happen across the universe, not just to humanity. Eventually, all worlds will become as diverse as Mother Earth. But Mother Earth is the first, and it is meant to be the first. And we are meant to be the catalyst for change across the universe. We're not prisoners, we're not experiments, we're not anything. We are here to protect us and to protect everything else. Because if that barrier wasn't here or there around us, the most depraved energies on this world could cause an incredible amount of harm. And there has been some harm caused, but not as much as there could have been if they could come and go freely. So on this planet, the raptors and Gladiola and her beings, the beings in the water, have been guardians to us. But there are other guardians that are assisting and helping us. But once again, let me just say, there was a very strong message that all energies need to step back and allow humanity to go through this transition. And anybody who did not honor that edict would deal with karmic consequences. The individual themselves and the world that they're from. So this was a very important message. I've gotten it over the years, but it's something I really haven't wanted to comment on because there's so many different beliefs, paradigms regarding this barrier. But it's not meant to restrain, contain, or imprison us. It's meant to give us the freedom to evolve, grow, and expand while keeping us safe and everybody else safe, meaning the universe as a whole, right? And so as I say that, I see nuclear bombs going off and then I'm thinking about CERN. We have the potential to reap havoc, and so there are multiple purposes for that barrier, but it's not meant to harm us. And I'm going to comment on CERN. Some information came in this week also on that. And I have written down here, Earth is a unique dimension of healing, not just a planet of initiation and transition. So Earth, and I'm not sure how to explain this, when information's coming in intuitively, it just comes in, that claircognizance and clairsentience, it's just so deep and I know it. But to actually articulate can be quite challenging at times because I don't have the words, but I know it and I feel it when the information comes in. So Earth is a dimension in and of itself. This planet and this space is a dimension of healing in and of itself. And it's meant to transcend whoever or whatever is on this planet. Now, I was watching something where a person had commented that we're all ascending. When we pass away, we all ascend. When we pass away, our consciousness is released from this physical form, and the physical form goes back to the earth. It decomposes, right? Just like leaves do. And our consciousness leaves, and we prepare ourselves for our next life. Or we go into our next lifetime. That's ascension. What we're doing right now is transcending in this physical form. We are growing and expanding within the physical form. We are mastering the physical form. We are mastering the intellect. We are mastering the emotional body in its physical form, which means we have to address our trauma, our sadness, our pain, our delusions, our own personal delusions. Learn how to deal with that, release it, grow, and expand in this physical form. So when Jesus died, he ascended into heaven, right? His soul, his spirit ascended into heaven. We release the physical form and we reunify with unity, wholeness, oneness. We remember our true divine selves, and everything that happened in this experience begins to fall away. And we figure out what we learned from that lifetime, what we were meant to learn from that lifetime. But what we are going through right now is a very powerful, unique transcendence within the physical form. And not everyone will succeed. Not everyone was meant to succeed. Many beings came to this world just for the experience, just to see what they can do. Many beings came with the intention of transcending, and not all of them have succeeded. And that's okay. This is a process. This is a process. So I went a little bit more into detail on a number of things than I planned, but it's very important for us to release this idea of being a victim, of being imprisoned against our will. This is an experience that's meant to help us grow. It's not about being right or wrong. It's not about being imprisoned or free. That's duality, right? It's not about left or right, right? It's not about red and blue. It's not about any of these things. It's about transcending the idea of left and right, blue and red, and understanding that those things were presented to us so that we can understand what that was, what we were meant to learn from it, and then let it go. There's nothing more that this level of consciousness offers me other than internal conflict or external conflict if I choose to continue from that mindset. from that point of view. So this whole experience is about transcending that idea of left and right, right and wrong, black and white, and moving to a different place. Moving to an expanded understanding of who I am, who we are, and what we're meant to be. Another thing that came in very strong this week was love is a very powerful emotion. It's very powerful. To be able to share compassion, kindness, and unconditional love with our fellow human beings, with our fellow living beings, whether they be animals or plants, the water, aquatic beings, whatever that is, to be able to share compassion, empathy, unconditional love, acceptance with those energies, beings, is an incredible gift. But maybe the most powerful thing we have as we go through this transition is hope. It's transcendent. Hope is transcendent. And when that message came in, I started thinking of Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And I remembered Colonel LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes came and talked at my high school and showed us his tattoos on his arms from the Holocaust, from World War II, and talked to us about his experience. And what Viktor Frankl did was give people hope when they had no reason to have hope. And it was hope that allowed them to survive the most horrifying experience that any person could have. It was horrifying. And so right now, if you look around at what's happening in the world, whoever they are trying to douse our hope, right? They're trying to diminish our hope. And so one of the questions I often ask when I'm navigating social media is, what do you put your faith in? What do you put your faith in? And I have been through so much spiritually, energetically, physically, emotionally, especially in the last 10, almost 11 years now, as I've gone through this awakening. I have absolute faith in the divine consciousness, in my connection, in my intuition, and what I know to be true. Absolutely. And I've made my peace with whatever I have to go through to transition, to transcend. And so nobody can douse my hope, and nobody can douse my capacity for compassion. And those things carry me through. There's many, many awful things happening right now. But how do I perceive that? How do I perceive that? I perceive it as a process of change. I perceive it as a tool of manipulation to try to get me to feel fear or anxiety or disgust or anger or frustration. It's a tool to try to trigger me into old ways of being, into old ways of thinking, that fear-based living, that place of lack, of believing lack or loss. I'm powerless. There's nothing I can do. Oh my God, look at what's happening. I don't live from that place anymore. I have absolute faith that everything that's happening is happening for a reason, and it's journeying us to the place that we're meant to be. The other thing that happened this week, I went into a gem store near where I live, and I got this. I saw this stone. It's Rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite, it has lepidolite, mica, and pyrite in it also. But I saw it. I'm like, oh, I can't get it. I just got the hemimorphite. I'm like, it wasn't, I can't get another stone. So I walked out, and then I had to walk back in. I walked almost all the way to the bus stop, and I had to come back and get it. And when I got it, I put it in my backpack and I started walking back to the bus stop, and all of a sudden I felt like my heart was on fire. My hands and my arms, all the way up through my hands to my chest into my heart, just both sides come in, and it's on fire. That's the best way I can describe it. And then I'm seeing fireworks shooting out of my heart, my chest. And I start reading. I went online and I started reading about what the stone represents, and I think it's healing and love, right? At the root, it's healing and love. And so I just felt my heart exploding with fireworks. And I was very emotional as I'm walking to the bus stop, which happens every now and then. But I felt happy. I felt good. I felt like buying the stone was what I was meant to do. And the very strong message was one of healing. So every time this unbalanced energy tries to come forward, it's trying so hard to keep that momentum flowing, keep that unbalanced energy flowing, keep that fear, keep that anxiety, keep that stress on humanity, to keep that energy flowing. Every time it tries to do that, it's counteractive. There's an equal and opposite response to every act that it takes part in to try to maintain control. And as I was walking and my heart was exploding, I kept on hearing the quickening, it's quickening, it's quickening. And to me, it made me think of the Highlander, the movie The Highlander, which I saw many years ago. The quickening, when all the immortals were coming together and they had to fight each other and only one could survive, right? But it wasn't that. This quickening isn't about violence. This quickening is about things moving faster towards unification, right? That energy is like accelerating quickly. It's all about healing. It's all about healing right now, and it is quickening. There is nothing they can do to stop it. I know this absolutely. I feel it so deeply. And it's not the first time that I've gotten that message about the quickening. I've gotten that message many times, but it seemed so important as my whole body was responding to that stone of love and of healing. The love and the healing is quickening. It's quickening. It's coming through. It's coming through. And just like spring has its signs, we will start seeing the signs. Okay? I was having some visions were coming through and information was coming through, and then I had a very strong vision of CERN, and the very strong message and the very clear message and the very short message was that CERN is stuck in a feedback loop. There is nothing for us to worry about. So whatever they've done in CERN has put them in a feedback loop. They keep doing the same thing over and over. They're stuck. And the metaphor they gave me was a dog chasing its tail. So whatever work they're trying to achieve, whatever they're trying to do, which I feel strongly is tearing a hole in the fabric of our reality, which is so that they can change it to create the world that they want. Because right now, whoever they know now that this transition is not going the way they would like it to go. So this is their plan B. right? This is their backup plan. And so what they've done is they've trapped themselves in a loop. Yep. Feedback loop. That's what I keep hearing. They've trapped themselves in a feedback loop. And they literally keep doing the same thing. So they are I'm going to say trapped in time, because that's the only way I can describe it. And they keep showing me my dad. My dad had a medical, something happened. His body was out of balance. He had too much acid or something in his body. And so he was stuck in this loop. And he was like, am I putting my clothes in the hamper, or am I folding my clothes? Are these clean or clothes? And he kept doing this movement back and forth, back and forth. And it took about 3 days. I had to take him to the hospital to get his body back in balance. But that's what I keep saying, is they're just kind of in this loop. They keep going left to right, back and forth, and they can't get out of it. So they've trapped themselves in that loop. Okay? And that keeps coming in very strong. And so a lot of times this information keeps coming in and coming in, coming in until I say it, and then I get a break. So this is one of those things that just keeps coming in and coming in and coming in, so I have to say it. The first thing I talked about also, the barrier, was something that kept coming in, coming in, coming in also, so I really felt like I needed to talk about that. So if you give me a second, let me see if there's anything else that comes in. And the final message that comes through is, when I closed my eyes, the first thing I heard was Queen singing "Can't Stop Us Now," but actually I think it's "Can't Stop Me Now," but I keep hearing "Can't Stop Us Now, Can't Stop Us Now." And so that's definitely a reference to transcending humanity, okay? All right, that's it. Thank you.